Well, the special appearance thing is the big thing, when you have FBI posted at the door waiting for you to appear so they can just take you.
Oh, that's a little different, yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's for another day. So the next question is, for the Republic, there's been many comments made in just passing that we are entering into treaties, and then there's been comments from judicial branch here in our Republic that we shouldn't be doing that. And is it my understanding that senators, and I guess the reps, but from what I understand, senators come together to approve or to initiate treaties or to give the executive branch the ability to initiate treaties. And if the judicial is making opinions, then they are probably. Am I correct in evaluating that they are making trying to legislate from the bench when there's been no claim and there can be no judgment about their opinion on treaties initiated by the Senate or our president, the executive branch? Did that come across okay? I'm not sure exactly.
Janet, is that a question where you're saying who has the power to initiate or form a treaty? Is that your question?
Correct.
The people, the Senate, the Congress. They are the people. They will tell the executive and judicial what is going to happen.
And that was my question, is because many people, without a lot of education, there have been a lot of rumors and comments around the country that we should not be entering any treaties with whatever entities are out there. But it's my understanding that only senators that's the difference. The senators or the legislative branch authorizes or initiates that ability to enter a treaty, and the judicial has no bearing on that.
On that. Here's the bottom line, Janet, because I need to move on to another question. But the people that are currently the people is the Congress, the Senate, and the House. They hold the power. They can tell the executive branch how far they can go. They could do the same for the judicial.
Well, I'm not confused, but at our recent assembly meeting, there was a bit of confusion. I just wanted to bring it up on a national call so people will understand the lines of responsibilities, and it's with the Senate and the representatives, the people, that says how we're going to do treaties and what they authorize and who they authorize to conduct the business of the Republic. And that's all I want to do is get it on the call. I wasn't confused by it, but others are. So,
Thank you, Janet. I appreciate you coming on. Okay, bye-bye. We're going to bring on area code 651. Go ahead and keep your question under a minute or comment. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Anisha Dunn from Minnesota.
Hey, Anisha.
I would just like to send greetings to all of our wonderful elders of the guardian elders of our Republic. And I have a question here. I'm imagining, of course, this is a continuation of a question that I brought up last week. But again, I would like to know, all of us are filling out these beautiful documents, and I have to say, for me personally, it's a very humbling and I'm very proud of this process of signing these documents, and it's been a very deep learning and kind of a spiritual process for me. And once we make this transition to the buildings, and when this whole thing comes to pass, will all the other Americans out there, will they also be doing the same process of, what we're doing right now?
We sure hope so. We can't force them to, but we sure would like as many Americans as we could come aboard.
Okay. then that leads to the next question. If they do not choose to undergo the process of joining us, the Republic for the United States of America, what jurisdiction then will they be in?
What jurisdiction will they be in?
Yes.
You know, that's a question that could go so many different ways, and let's examine that for a second. There's the threat of them going out of business. There's the threat of a one world agenda coming on our land and trying to assume our land. There's also the Republic who's making a claim to the land. We are literally the only recognized lawful, and those two words have to be together, recognized lawful governing body on the land. So what would they do if there was no corporation in existence? Now, I just can't see them walking away from such a cash cow for them. So what would they do? I don't know. And unfortunately, as a 14th Amendment citizen, they're limited as to what their freedoms are or what they can do. So that question could be answered for an hour as to all the possibilities of what could happen if they didn't come aboard. But they will not have the freedom that you will enjoy. I promise you that. They will not.
But okay, thank you very much for that answer. But there are people out there who have done their UCC, secured party creditor process, and as far as they're concerned, they have their sovereign rights and they're free, and they don't want any government, no matter who that government might be. They are free. And what will happen with those people, or how will we recognize them?
Kelby, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead, Mr. President.
Yes, I'd like to answer that if you don't mind. Well, first of all, we're not going to harass or bother anybody. We're not going to, if they don't want to be part of what we're doing, that's just entirely up to them. We're not going to bother them. They can do their own thing. The problem with people with that mentality is that they don't understand how governments work and how nations work. And if everybody had that mindset, you would totally collapse the world's economy and put us into the worst depression that this nation's ever seen. It would make the Great Depression look like a picnic in comparison, because you would collapse the very fabric of society that made you free and gave us the prosperity that this great nation has had for the last 200 years. Government was designed by God, not by men. Government was put in position by God to protect people, protect the weak from the strong. Because when you don't have a government, the strongest and the meanest take over and abuse the rest of the people. That's the purpose of government. It has been abused. The corporation has terribly abused it. But the Republic is going back to a government of, by, and for the people, instituted by Almighty God the way that government is supposed to be, to protect the people, not to abuse the people. So the folks that don't want to have any government don't understand government, first of all, and they don't understand how nations work. And we won't bother them. We will not molest them. We will not harass them. We will not bother them. But to not want to be part of something this great is, honestly, it's ignorance. They just don't understand it. If they did, they would. You couldn't keep them out of it. But that's the way some folks think. So that's just the way it is. But anyway, the answer to your question is that if the corporation goes away, when the corporation goes away, because it's going away, and the Republic is in place, and the lawful government and the only government, we're simply not going to bother with those folks. They can live their life any way they choose as long as they don't harm their neighbor. And that's the answer to your question.
Thank you. Hear. That is wonderful. Thank you for your passion on that, because these are some of the discussions and arguments that take place, as people are bringing things up. And I want to thank you for that. Also look forward to meeting all of you in person this weekend. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it very much.
Good night,
God
guys.
bless you, Anisha. Thank you for the call.
And thank you for your question.
Okay, we're going to bring on. We got about 10 minutes, so let's try to keep your questions to a minimum, and we'll get them answered as quickly as we can. This is an 818 area code. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. This is Eric Levitt. Some of you may know my name from the book I wrote, and you can Google that. Just be sure you spell Eric with an A. It's A-R-I-C. And what we heard tonight, just quick comment, and then the two questions are very quick. What we heard tonight about forgiveness is very powerful and very biblically doctrinal. You know, if we don't forgive, then we're not forgiven. And it's very important to keep that in mind. When we're successful, we also need to keep in mind that our people are very corrupt. And it's one of the main reasons why we have a corrupt government, a corporation, and not a lawful government anymore. So our work will be cut out for us. And amongst the people generally corrupt, liberty dies. So very important that the morals are very corrupt in this nation amongst the people. And that's a big part of the problem. Now, my question, actually I got two. Are there governors of all 50 states or just 36?
I think it's about 42.
42. Okay, good. And I'd like to know what will become, there have been sovereignty movements in Hawaii and Alaska where they want to become their own nation again and break off from the corporate U.S. So afterwards, after the fact, will we be keeping them in? Are they going to want to stay in, or are they going to want to break away again? Do you know?
I have no idea, Mr. President.
Eric, the nation states of Alaska and Hawaii have already made petitions to us to become part of the Republic. They are part of the
wonderful.
Republic. Yes, they've already done that. They have been in quite some time, and they're very active actually in with the Republic.
Wonderful news.
But they are independent nations on their own. Being a part of the Republic does not change that. And this is more like it's an association of free republics is what the national government is. And it has no power over one of those republics at all. We don't have any power. We get the power from the people, which comes from what the people tell us to do. All we are is an administrative body, basically, that regulates commerce between the states. We have no authority. It's been so abused by the corporation that people don't understand what the national government's purpose is anymore. But under the original government, we just regulate commerce. That's all we do.
Once the
we
Republic
have no authority to do. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, real quick. Once the Republic is restored, there won't be any more direct election of senators or one man, one vote, correct?
I don't. That's up to Congress. What Congress sets up, that's not up to me. But we're going to follow the principles of the Constitution as our law, unless they amend some of the things. And there are some amendments that need to be done to the original Constitution. Two I can think of right offhand is we don't have slavery anymore, and and women have the right to vote. Those things do need to be changed. And Congress will address those issues, and we've already addressed it, but they need to do an official change, amendments to that. But and some amendments will be necessary because we don't live 240 years ago. We live in a whole new world, different than the Founding Fathers had. And the Constitution has always been a living document, and it has been amended over the years to address the issues that arise new society. It's a whole new different ballgame out here. They didn't have a lot of the things then that we have today, and we have to address those issues. But that's up to the people. And one statement that you made is absolutely correct. A lot of our people are corrupt. And we're going to have to institute morals, and we're going to have to put God back in this country. And we're going to have to teach our children what honor and integrity is again, and teach them what morals are. And in time, and it will take time, we will bring our nation back to a less corrupt form of people of honor and integrity. Again, if we'll stay on that task. If we don't, we will lose our liberty. There's that no doubt.